Hello all, welcome to another video of ours. We are on our way to the magical place that is Ladakh. We had a wonderful 10-day trip and we'll cover what one can expect to see and the places that can be covered. Our base in Leh for the trip was this excellent hotel which helped us with the logistics of the trip. As part of acclimatization, taking rest on the day of arrival and covering these places the next day is the best way to start a Ladakh trip. And the first day itself, the best place to start would be the Leh Palace. This formal royal palace is more than 500 years old, 9 stories high, and offers a stunning view of the city and the mountains. And it holds a rich collection of old items and is a good place to get a glimpse of the history of the region. And you get to see the first Buddhist monastery in Ladakh inside the Leh Palace. Also what you get to see from here and visit if interested is the old Simo fort and monastery, the highest point in Leh. The next point of visit during day 1 is the Hall of Fame at Leh. The Hall of Fame is a museum run by the army and is a must-visit place for a number of reasons. For one, through the displays of various weapons, displays and pictures, reminds us about the brave soldiers who laid down their lives defending the nation. And then shows us the history, culture and other details of Ladakh. A good introduction to what we are going to see in the next few days of the travel. There is also a small store where you can buy souvenirs, dry fruits and other items which we thought are good value for money. The airport is nearby and the next place to visit is also nearby, which is the Spituk Monastery. This monastery dates back to the 11th century and will be our first visit of a standalone proper monastery. Interesting fact, the Leh airport is named after a well-known monk from the monastery. Do look up this information, you will like it. Don't forget to spin the prayer wheel to seek blessings while you are at the monasteries. Spituk Monastery is going to be a good introduction to the architecture and structure and interesting art and religious artifacts. That is why some of these monasteries are very popular and really worth visiting. As mentioned, the monastery is situated near the airport and is a good place to see planes landing and taking off. further ahead on the road, the beautiful Gurdwara Pathar Sahib, worth a stop to seek blessings at this Gurudwara maintained by the Indian Army. Next on the road is the Magnetic Hill, a unique attraction near Leh. When you put your car in neutral, you see and feel the car moving uphill. No credible explanation why. Definitely was an interesting experience. And the last point on this route is the Sangam Point, where you can get to see the Zanskar and the Indus River meeting. What is coming from the top is the Zanskar River, and what is coming from the left is the Indus River. One can see the difference in color of the rivers at the Sangam Point. The two rivers continue from here after becoming one as the Indus River. A good way to end day one of the Lehtrip, seeing the Indus River, which has not only been historically very significant, but is important in the modern context as well. One can sit and enjoy the river, or if interested, take part in adventure activities like river rafting and zip lining. As you prepare to wind up day one and return to your base at Leh, you can visit the Shanti Stupa, a relatively new attraction built in 1991 by a Japanese Buddhist monk along with Ladakhi Buddhists. It holds the legs of Buddha at the base and stands as a symbol of peace. It has a different architecture compared to the traditional Ladakhi constructions, but has interesting murals and also is a great location near Leh with panoramic views of the surrounding landscapes. And finally, to finish off, visit the Leh market, take some photos at the selfie point, do visit the Tibetan refugee market and other such interesting shops. You can easily spend some time, interesting time, wandering around the Leh market. You could have your refreshments at one of the cafes or enjoy traditional Ladakhi food at one of the restaurants here and then wind up for the day. Alright, we are at the second day. 2 days is the recommended time for acclimatization at Leh before venturing out to high altitudes. And in the second day, these are all the places in and around Leh that can be covered. You could start the day from Sindhu Ghat or end the day at Sindhu Ghat, the Indus River bank, at a very beautiful place. You can sit and watch the river flow by. It's a peaceful place to be at, especially during the evenings. Continuing the journey, next in the list is the Stok Palace and Museum. It is the current residence of the former royal family and also has a museum with various historical artifacts of Ladakh and the royal family. And the view, as everywhere else, from the top is gorgeous. Okay, next stop in the route is Shey Palace and Monastery, which is an interesting place for a number of reasons. Shey was the old capital of Ladakh. Unfortunately, the ancient original palace and fort built during the 10th century is in ruins, which you see from here. The current Shey Palace, which is below, is about 500 years old. We came up to visit this statue first and then ended up taking the back route to the palace and monastery, which turned out to be quite an adventure. A little bit of a climb, which we did not mind because of the views and things that we were seeing. The former royal family used to stay here and then shifted to the Stok Palace, which we saw previously. The Buddha statue in the monastery is the other highlight here. It's the second largest in Ladakh and covers 3 floors of the monastery. It is made of copper and said to be gilded with 5 kilograms of gold. If you are a die-hard fan of the Three Idiots movie, you might also want to visit the Rancho School, which is not very far away from the Shey Palace. There are places to take some good photos there and then continue on the way to the next destination in our route. An absolutely must visit in Ladakh is this Thiksey Monastery. Big and beautiful. Make sure that you have sufficient time to visit this. There are quite a few things to see here. Typical architecture and construction style that we talked about earlier. What makes this monastery special is the beautiful murals on the walls and other artifacts and the interesting temples inside. Feels like a different world altogether. This is the main temple inside the monastery. We can feel that the place is quite old, feel the spiritual significance of the monastery inside. And then this beautiful and mesmerizing golden Buddha statue with its height, largest in Ladakh, is built covering 3 floors. The statue is 40 feet tall and was built to commemorate the visit of Dalai Lama here. By the way, the monastery itself is 12 stories high. And this is the very interesting Mahakali temple inside the monastery. Leave it to your imaginations on what is behind the curtains. These are guardian deities depicted in terrifying and intimidating forms. The main deity has 9 faces with skull crowns, snake necklaces, and a garland of 50 heads. 34 hands holding things like skull caps. Hence, it is not encouraged normally to see the faces of these deities, and hence is kept covered. These faces are only unveiled during special occasions. This is the oldest part of the monastery. You might be interested to know that occult and esoteric practices are part of Tibetan Buddhism and is supposedly practiced even now. This is the library within the monastery near the Mahakal temple, housing a big collection of ancient manuscripts. These are Buddhist sacred texts, Lord Buddha's recorded teachings and commentaries by the great masters of Buddhism. There are other similar places of worship inside the monastery as well, like these ones. The other temple here is the Tara temple, dedicated to the Buddhist goddess Tara, who is the deity of compassion and protection. Goddess Tara, in her 21 manifestations, are present in the temple. And finally is the temple of these silver and gold stupas. And last but not the least, the view from the top of the monastery to finally wind up the visit to Thiksey Monastery, one of the highlights of the Ladakh trip. And finally, we end day 2 with another must-visit monastery, this time the Hemis Monastery, arguably the most well-known, largest and the most powerful of all the monasteries in Ladakh. The Hemis Monastery is known to have existed from the 11th century and has about 1,000 branch monasteries in Ladakh and houses about 1,000 monks here. The collection of scriptures and artwork and images and ancient manuscripts is priceless here, and a selection is available in the Hemis Monastery Museum. Unfortunately, photography is not allowed inside, but highly recommended that when you come here, spend time at the museum. It's similar in construction to the monastery architecture that we talked about here. So instead of showing what is inside, we'll leave you with this clip of monks practicing their traditional monk dance and stop the video here.